Hi everyone, Jody with the Ring Lord here. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 9 of our Beginner Weave series. This is European 6-in-1. European 6-in-1 is very closely related to European 4-in-1 and all of the other European whatever in one weaves. For this weave, it simply means we have 6 rings captured by one ring. You can go up to as many rings in one as you can find large enough rings for. Go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will get notified of all our new content. So let's go ahead and get into making this weave. I'm going to be using 4 colors, and I have closed a small pile of each color ring and then opened a small pile of these pink rings that will be my center rings, as in this sample right here. I'm using 16 gauge SWG 5/16 of an inch saw cut anodized aluminum in our matte rings. So for European 6-in-1, you will need to start off with 6 rings on one ring. If you're making a color pattern, you need to watch the way you put your initial rings on. So I'm going to put my rings that I want to be my third rings. And then when you put your other rings on, you'll need to put one on one side, one on the other for the other 2 colors. So I'm using sky and violet as my other 2. And then go ahead and close this ring. So when you sit it down, or you'll want to separate it so it's sitting on your finger, it looks sort of like a little butterfly. You need to make sure your aspect ratio is big enough to handle 6 rings. The aspect ratio of these rings is about 5.2. I have put a graphic of ring sizes and ring counts at the beginning of this video. There's also a Facebook post about it that I will link. So when you do European 6-in-1 and you spread them out like this, your next move is going to be to go with taking one open ring and adding 2 of your next color. So my next color is going to be violet. So I'm going to put 2 violet rings on here. Now, when you are doing European 4-in-1, you would simply go through these 2 rings at the end. But when you get up into 6-in-1, 8-in-1, 10-in-1, you subtract 2 from the number of rings in 1. So this is 6 minus 2. And that is how many rings you go through each time you add a section. So I'm going to be going through 4 rings. Let's get this settled back out. So my 4 rings are going to be the green and the blue on this side. So I'm going to go down, scoop around, and come up through the blue, then the green on the other side, and close the ring. Let me show you what that looks like laying down. So you get sort of this, I don't know, lacy kind of look where you've got an obvious pair up here, 2 pairs, and then a pair. Once you get going down the length of it, you'll see that you don't see that differentiation as much. My next color is sky blue. So I'm adding 2 blue rings. Remember, I have to go through 4 rings. So I'm going to go through the rings I just added, which are violet, the rings behind those, which are green, scoop around, come up through the green, and then the violet, and close. And every time you do that, if you want to just check to make sure that you've done it correctly, your rings will sit flat. Just like you're making European 4-in-1. This has just got more density to it. This is really great for straps, belts, stuff like that, things that need to hold a little bit more weight. So we are now going to do 2 green rings on our open ring. And again, I'm going to go through 4 rings. This time I'm going through the top blue ring, the violet ring underneath it, scoop around to the violet ring here, and up through the other blue ring. That is how you make European 6-in-1. I will continue doing 3 more sections just so you can see it extended. So our next color is going to be violet. Now we'll do blue. Oops. The pliers I'm using are our Tronex Made for Mailers pliers. These are the long jaw pliers. They're awesome. We also sell short jaw, which I love as well. These pliers are excellent pliers for so many kinds of rings, materials, and sizes. It is really, really thin jaw at the end, which makes it easy to get into tight places. You can also use 20 gauge rings with these. I use these for about 95% of my work. I also suggest working on a bead mat. This is vinyl, this is not a bead mat. A bead mat is a soft, squishy, kind of those old Velux blankets is what it feels like to me. It just makes it easy to push down, grab your ring so you never have to put your pliers down. So that's 3 more sections, 1, 2, 3. What I also like to do to end this is to add a ring up here. So I'm going to flip this over so you can see what I'm talking about. These rings up here are a little bit kind of loose. So I like to take a open ring and as if I were going to add 2 rings and go through the 4 rings at the top, but I'm not adding any rings. And if I were going to add a clasp, I'd add it right there. So that is it. And again, if you are making anything higher than 6-in-1, you'll just need to make sure that you have a good aspect ratio that will handle however many of the extra or additional rings, and you'll know how many to go through if you subtract 2 from whatever number. If you have a order question or a product question, please contact customer service at orders@TheRingLord.com. If you need help with a project or a question about this tutorial or any other tutorial we've written or recorded, send us an email at projecthelp@TheRingLord.com. I hope you have a great day.